Hey there, so my latest thing obviously is guns, like space guns, airsoft guns, what have you, and I've just sort of been playing with these for like the last couple of months. They're not all airsoft, but a lot of them are. So this one right here, this is the LPA NN14 that I made a couple years ago, and I showed this off already. It's been steampunkified. I wanted something to go with that steampunk gunslinger, and it just so happened that I had this one and a holster that worked for it. This right here came from a Makoto Sai lightsaber a long time ago with a MPI insert on the front of it. I cut all this stuff out so that I can run some of the piping and whatnot, otherwise it's still the same red LED. I don't even remember what LED it is. Some of the other stuff is, this was for an E11. This is the power cylinders, but I didn't use it on the E11, so I took it apart and I put it on here, and these are the metal mites over here, the capacitors that get woven in there. But otherwise, it's got a blaster core. I think it's a V2. I've had it for a while, and I think I even got it in a trade. There it is. Feedback motor. It's surprisingly powerful. I can actually feel it in this hand as I pull the trigger. Come on now. There we go. Anyway, that's this. So let's go with this one right here. This is a I showed this one off a while ago, but then I pulled the video because I ended up cutting more stuff out of it. This is a WeTech 9mm sword cutlass from Black Lagoon. It had the Jolly Roger hand grips and stuff, but I wanted kind of a quasi Romeo and Juliet, the Baz Luhrmann version of the Romeo and Juliet. They had the really cool guns and stuff. A lot of them were Taurus or Para Ordnance and stuff, but again, I wanted something in that vein, and when I got this, a lot of the parts came off pretty easily, particularly like the slide release came off pretty easily. So I was just like, well, okay, maybe I can powder coat it, and then I got the idea just like, hey, powder coat the rest of it too. So I went with these silly, gaudy gold parts. I found the grips on eBay, Amazon, and powder coated them white. They're originally black, but one of the versions, the grips are completely off, and the magazine is got the sides cut out of it also, or it's clear, but either way you can see the round. But I wanted something to that effect, so it had all these great holes already, and then I wanted something to go behind it, and I was just like, well, what can go behind it? So I went kind of with like a Japanese theme, because you got the rising sun here. Same thing with the plate right here, because they all have their like family crests on little pearl plates and stuff on the end of the magazine. So I did the same thing. This was actually like a knife handle scale, but I had to cut it out and basically shape it myself. It was a little bit of a pain, but hey, whatever. But again, went with the rising sun. This is a 5 yen piece, but there's unfortunately no decocker on this particular version. But yeah, I like this. Just because it's kind of captures that same feel without being a replica. I just went with a cheapo RMR. I don't even remember how much this was. I would guess something as exorbitant as like $30. An actual Trijicon is probably 10 times that. You can turn it on, and I think it's a 5-second thing. Yeah, but if you rack it, in other words, if you pull the trigger, it goes off. Is it still on? Yeah, it's still on. Okay, but a lot of times it'll go off. I think it's pretty cool. So yeah, there's that. All right, so this one is the Combat Master. This is the John Wick High Kappa. It's a very pretty gun. This is the EMG version. It's got a Tokyo Marui auto tracer unit. This is the one that was pulled off of my Lastech E57 with the holes cut out of it so that you can actually see the flash. Because of the fact that you can't put the batteries in there, it didn't really work very well for pistol, so I had to mount one externally. This is just an 18650. that I just soldered some leads onto a quick disconnect. That's what's feeding down into the 18650 here. Plus it gives it that whole kind of cyberpunk look to it. It's just that it's pretty heavy, and it kind of messes with the cycling of the gun. This is another one of the reproduction RMRs. This one's a wee bit brighter, and I think this one actually goes like even more brighter. Otherwise, it's just a stock EMG Terran Tactical High Kappa from John Wick. So yeah. So this one's my Colt Dallas, kind of quasi Colt Dallas. It's not a replica for a few reasons. The actual muzzle on that one is particularly bigger, and there's some extra hardware and stuff that in some scenes it's there, some scenes it's not. I don't know what kind of a connector. It's a DIN plug, but so it had that nice knurling and stuff, but I had to trim it down so that it fit, but at the same time it's a lot smaller than the film version. Also, this on the film version is a 3-digit digital bar graph. All I had on hand was just the 10 segment bar graph, but they got it to work pretty well using a Mass Replica's Force Effects Mall board. There's an internal 10440 sitting in there somewhere. Recharge port is down here. The button is actually right there. What's cool about this one is that it's basically just mostly Sintra, a little bit of acrylic and MDF. The whole shell, more or less, minus the back part here, comes off in one shot. So this is the thing that attaches it to the little Picatinny rail down on the bottom. But this is just a PX4 compact, and this is the tracer unit. Got the full grip length and stuff. This right here is just some more Sintra and a couple of TCSS blade tips, and what else was I going to say? I was going to say something. Oh yeah, I left the back open so that you could get to the hammer. This is just one big Chicago screw that holds it together, and this is actually screwed into the rear sight. So the rear sight is got a couple of extra holes in it just to hold everything secure, but otherwise this, I mean, it has to be solid because it's the reciprocating part, but either way, it's held there solidly. And on top of that, then I can actually decock it because otherwise the decocker has been removed. So it's pretty easy to get back in here. Just got to make sure that it sits properly. Screw it down. It's on there solid. And the dank. There you go. All right. Which one should we do next? This one? Alright, so can't really fit it all into frame. So I was rewatching the old 1984 Transformers. I really dug Blue Streak, Prowl, those kinds of guys, and Silver, Smokescreen. They all had basically the same body shape with different paint schemes, and fortunately different personalities in the show, which kind of made it more fun. But they're basically the same guy, but they had this gun, or some version of this gun, and I always thought it was really cool. This is another one with a blaster core. It's version 5, I believe. Got for Buddy. Thank you, Buddy. But again, mostly MDF construction. This is the center section to a Parks axis right here. Some Sintra parts. Oh yeah, this is just a piece of acrylic that I had the recharge port and the switch mounted to. The muzzle / flash hider, that was a little bit of a weird thing. I don't have a lathe, so I couldn't actually just turn it down. So my solution was to cut out like circles. Like there's a circle here, a circle here, a circle here, and they're just stacked. There's a screw that goes down the middle of it. You chuck the screw into your drill, like a hand drill, and then basically just spin it while you're holding the drill with either 30 or 40 grit sandpaper, which will just chew it down really super fast. It's surprisingly straight. But yeah, it's got all the standard Transformer sounds. The aux button is on the butt here, so really if you're holding it like this, you just smash it against your body to get the sound to change. That's the big man himself, Megatron, and the Decepticons, they would have like purple beams. I just put the purple LED in here, and that's another blade tip so that it's more or less transparent. The main is actually red. Oh, the speakers, there's 2 speakers, and I kind of did that thing that I did with the Guardian bow, where it's sort of coming off both sides, which makes for super, super loud, but the sound is consistent on both sides, so it doesn't really matter which side you're standing on, but otherwise, I find it to be, when it's just me here, fairly uncomfortably loud, which is why I have these things to go in there. And it kind of adds to the look a little bit, so. There's that. I'm putting that up here too, so. Lastly, we got this thing, custom Cyberpunkretta is more or less what I've been calling it. It's got a Collector Labs Sonic core, or the Sonic Screwdriver core, and again it's got a X-Cortec tracer unit. This is the Gen 1, or the Mark 1. It's a little bigger, so I had to play with the mounting of it just to get it perfectly lined up. So where did this design come? This is kind of an original design, what I was looking for. It's KWA PTP M9. It's a really good platform in the sense that it's really accurate and it feels good. I just really like the way a Beretta feels, but this one felt really good, but it was the PTP version that didn't have the Picatinny rail on it, so I got this thing, which is basically just another way to mount Picatinny rails on a Beretta that doesn't have one. It was pretty sci-fi looking, so I figured, hey, let's keep going with that, and just kept on going with the sci-fi thing. So, in addition, it's got the laser, it's got the, oh my god, that's an Olight, and it's oh my god bright. But that, it still looks pretty cool with it off, but again, if you're going to have the whole package, get the whole lamb unit. This one, the decocker actually does work, and what's cool about this is that right where the switch for the Sonic core is mounted is that you can either go behind the trigger, or you can basically simulate it and just use the trigger. That way when you release it, then you get the airsoft action and stuff. I really like the Sonic core. This is the version 2, and here's the original sound. The version 2 has these cool laser gun sounds. Everything is basically squoze into a little section of 7/8 inch blade, like right here. There's surprisingly enough room for a battery, a recharge port, a speaker, an LED. This is a piece of foam that covers everything, so you can sort of see it in there. There's the LED, the battery, and the recharge port, but I wanted something that would let the sound through, but at the same time kind of cover up all the stuff behind it. So it just so happened that a piece of upholstered foam worked beautifully for that. So, but yeah, some of the Blade Runner, like this thing right here, and the LED influences. Judge Dredd is like the multifunction of like a gun or Sonic Screwdriver. I'm picturing Sylvester Stallone yelling "Sonic Screwdriver" at his gun, and then of course it complying and turning into a Sonic Screwdriver. That kind of made me giggle. Those are my pews. Alright, we'll see you later. My mind is drawing a blank. What the hell are those things called? Sorry, I had to get something out of my teeth. This is my Corbin. Should I leave that in? The magazine fell out and the butt plate fell off. I think I kind of want to leave that in. That's awesome. It was sitting on sits on the magazine release, and since it's a really exaggerated magazine release, it comes off.